the different talks from their user group meetings. And there's some really great talks that they have up there. You can click and you can watch these either streaming, or you can download them to your computer and watch them offline if you want to. And you're able to even bookmark your own notes in these videos, whether you're online or off. And when you plug in next time, it synchronizes all your local comments up to the server. So if I want to watch one of these feeds, for example, like Filthy Rich Clients, I can click and it'll stream that down to my computer. And I can actually exchange the video feed with these slides, which is pretty cool. And user groups in Belgium.
Hello.
And I think they're actually going to record this feed and put it on Parlays too.
Enriching the user experience. This session is.
And these are some comments here. So if I want to look at gradients, I can just click to that section and we'll go over to gradients. There you go. If I want to jump there, I can go there. So it's an easy way of navigating around. And if I want to, I can make my own comments as well right on this feed. Now, in addition to this application running on Macintosh, of course all these run on Windows too. So we've already released AIR now for Mac and Windows. We're working on the Linux version, and it's actually running, and I wanted to show you that too. So here we've got a Linux machine, and this is running Ubuntu. And you can see we've got a number of AIR applications. These are exactly the same AIR apps that we saw running on Mac here, and these also, of course, run on Linux. So I can go ahead and launch these. So let's launch Parlays since we just saw that one. So I'll double click on Parlays here, and it will launch. Here we go. So here's the Parlays application. Let me just zoom it up here. And I can look at those exact same talks that we saw over on the Macintosh, and you can see I can watch them right here in place. So I'll just click here, it will transition over and load that same talk, and we can watch it here. Exact same thing we just saw. We can swap the feed just like we saw before. Exact same application. If I want, I can seek to a different location. So this is really going to enable, I think, a lot of new applications for Linux, where before, of course, people don't really make Linux-specific applications as much as they do for Mac and Windows or even for the web. If we start actually seeing web applications get widely adopted and come to the desktop, this can enable a whole new frontier of applications for Linux and make Linux potentially a lot more popular as an operating system for users. So I'm excited about the potential here for AIR and Linux together. That's coming out later this year, and we're actually looking for Linux users to help us test it, because obviously there's a lot of variety in Linux. We want to make sure we get it right. So let us know if you want to help exercise it. Now, the last thing I want to show is that same application working on what's called a mobile internet device. And this is something that Intel has been working on, and this device is made by Samsung. So it's basically a handheld device. It's plugged into power and sound cable right now. And this is a touch screen. It's a little keyboard on it. It's a wireless device, and you can walk around and use the web on it and run applications locally. And this device runs both Windows and Linux. And so AIR runs now on this device as well. We're in development right now, but we've got it running. So here's that same Parlays application. So you can see I can drag it around. In fact, I can launch other apps. Here's the Adobe directory application. That same directory application, I can look up someone's name. So if I want to look up Michelle, oops, I made a mistake. If I can only type. See, that's the challenge with these mobile devices, is your fingers are bigger than the device. So we'll look up somebody else. Here's Michelle Barley, Michael Barley. Okay, so that's the Adobe directory application. Here's the Parlays application. Oops. Maximize, and we can look at the talks. And so here's that same application running on a mobile internet device. And so you can walk around and watch these either streaming again or right here on your device. Same content, same interactivity, exact same application. And so the frontier here for AIR is really enabling these applications to work not only on the desktop operating systems, but also starting to reach to mobile devices. And the ultra mobile PCs and mobile internet devices are the kind of the first wave of that, because we can actually, they are like small personal computers, and so their processing power, memory, and things like that are strong enough to run AIR basically as it is in other desktop OSs. But our frontier is actually going to be bringing AIR to other platforms. So I wanted to show you our thinking here. And this is basically, we don't have this running yet, but I wanted to share some of the ideas that we're talking about and see what you guys think about this here too. This is basically a concept of AIR running on a handheld device, smartphone in this case. You can see on the left there's a bunch of application icons, and on the right there's Adobe Media Player there running as one of the applications, but it could be any of the AIR applications. So now these need to be designed for a small form factor, and I think as people start adopting mobile devices more and more, or in some countries, of course, starting with mobile and maybe not even using a personal computer, the design center of what we build is going to shift to being mobile first. Right now, most of the software we make at Adobe is for personal computers with big screens. Most of the people who use that software produce content for people using big screens and personal computers. That's largely what we're all doing right now. I believe that's going to shift over the next few years where we're actually going to start thinking about designing for mobile first and then figure out how to make it work on a big screen. And that's going to be pretty liberating, I think, because coming down from a big screen to a small screen doesn't really work that well. People are really trying hard to make that work, but for applications, that's challenging because you tend to design a user interface that uses the larger space and it doesn't just work that well when you shrink it. But if you design small, it's a lot easier to make those bigger. So to show you what I mean, if we had this application running on a mobile device, wouldn't it be great if you could actually take that exact same application you had on your mobile device and run it on your personal computer? So if you're carrying your application around and it's a travel application or a media player or a contact application, be able to just drag that to your personal computer and run it. And it may run exactly the same as it did on your mobile device. And of course, widgets are pretty popular right now, so these could actually start out as basically widgets on your personal computer. You could run several of them if you wanted to. And that lets you start bridging your mobile experience and your desktop experience without the designer and the developer really even necessarily thinking about the PC when they build the app. Same AIR file installs on mobile and on PCs. Now, because you do have a bigger screen, perhaps some of these applications could be designed to take advantage of that. So if one were to stretch that screen bigger, vertically or horizontally, some of these applications could relay themselves out. We could put in dynamic constraints, which we already have in the programming models we're all using right now on the web. It's a flexible design environment. So this could stretch a bit, or there could be alternate skins if someone wanted to really design something specifically for a bigger screen that the application could switch to when it's stretched. But by default, it would work, and this would be kind of extra credit for making it take advantage of the extra space. So that's something that we're looking at now as working to enable for people to build these apps and start bridging the mobile and the PC world, which hasn't been done to date, and we're excited about the potential of doing it.